Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, David Riggleman, Communications Director for the City of Las Vegas. Coming up on this show, parks in Ward 1 are cleaned up thanks to the many volunteers who came out to help, and a new art and entertainment complex has opened its doors. We take you inside Area 15 and show you what the new attraction is all about. Of course, this is all in Ward 1, and the councilman who represents Ward 1, you know him, Brian Knudsen. Welcome back to the show. How are you?
Thank you very much. It's been 6 weeks.
It has.
I'm ready to come back.
It's good to have you on the show again. Everything going well? Are you? You know, it's been a crazy year, but
it seems to be getting a little bit more normal now.
Yeah,
people are starting to venture out. They're a little bit more comfortable talking to each other. We're getting used to the masks, the 6 feet distance. It feels a little bit better, and the numbers of COVID cases are dropping dramatically.
Thank goodness. Keep up the good work.
We need to keep doing that.
Yeah.
So it's getting a little bit easier, a little bit better. Good. Life is coming back.
That's right. We're getting there. We're getting there. Well, you know Ward 1 very well. It's your stomping ground. For those of you out there not exactly sure where Ward 1 is located, well, don't worry. We're going to show you right there on the map, right in the heart of everything. Ward 1 is where the city of Las Vegas actually started. So if you live in that area or work in that area, then you are in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. And of course, if you're a resident there, you are represented by Brian Knudsen. You've been on the council a little over a year now, right?
A little over a year, yes. Super fun.
What a year to come in. It started off great, and then off we are into the pandemic. So.
You know, the city is great. There's so much opportunity, and even though the pandemic hit, I'm starting to see where there's going to be opportunity. For example, the growth of the medical district.
Yeah.
I know where to plug in now. I know exactly how to work the magic, because I can see there's going to be incredible growth in the medical district, especially in the healthcare industry, and COVID maybe will make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Whether that's good or not, I don't know, but I think there's going to be growth in the healthcare industry here.
I think we've all seen that it hasn't been all bad this year. It's certainly been a tough year, but not all bad, and there have been some good things. You say it's kind of sped up things like the importance of the medical district. That's a perfect example.
That's right.
It's just brought that focus up so much, and so people are like, well, yeah, we need to really up our game when it comes to the medical services we provide here.
And I can't wait to. I believe on the next show we'll be talking about the groundbreaking of the medical school, and so with that will come lots of other kinds of developments. And we're talking now about research and laboratory facilities, and that's all going to be in Ward 1 in the medical district. And COVID just makes us move a little bit faster because it's important and critical to our community.
It certainly reminded us of that, absolutely. Yeah. Well, speaking of new developments in Ward 1, very exciting. Area 15 had a soft opening last week. You were one of the folks that got to participate in that, helped them kick off, if you will. It was kind of their grand opening. This place is so cool. It's like you say, we've all seen the building along Interstate 15, but we haven't really seen what's inside till now.
Yeah, and so I went through when it was under construction a year ago, and then was here lucky enough to participate in the grand opening. It's really hard to describe exactly what it is, and so I would encourage people that you can go online and register for a time to come in. There's an ice cream shop, which is great for the kids. There's a bar and a restaurant, which is great for the adults. There's some kind of a flying trapeze thing that goes above. It's very cool. It's very interesting. It's very hard to describe. But I think it's going to be something that is iconic about Las Vegas and really sets Ward 1, the city of Las Vegas, and the state of Nevada apart from everywhere else. And I can guarantee you that they are just getting started. This is the beginning. Spring of 2021 is going to be a harder opening for them, or an easier. Yeah. It's not the soft opening, the hard opening, I guess, where you're able to go in, and Meow Wolf will be there at that point in time. So it's an experiential art experience. I don't know how else to say that.
Yeah, interactive.
Interactive.
And Meow Wolf, very successful in New Mexico, and now they've upped their game, bringing it here, obviously bigger and even greater in Las Vegas. So
and for anyone who's lived in Las Vegas for a while, it's near the old Scandia site.
Yeah.
There's going to be restaurants, bars, obviously the art and the experience, and I think they're just getting started. So the Fisher brothers are to be commended. They opened up in a very difficult time.
Yeah.
They are just getting started. It's going to be an amazing asset to our valley.
So glad. A year, so many businesses have just struggled, and here they are opening a major attraction.
And they did a great job at the opening. I anticipate wonderful things from them.
Yeah. So check it out. Again, they're limiting the number of people to 50 at a time right now. So like everything else these days, you're going to have to make some kind of a reservation or an register to get in. But I think people, given the chance, are going to really flock in there. So.
And this is part of our tourist improvement district. So the intention really is to bring as many people from out of state into Nevada as we can.
Yeah.
So this is a partnership between the county, the state, the city of Las Vegas, and Area 15. And we want as many people coming from around the country and the world into Las Vegas to experience Area 15, and of course bringing some money with them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to get our economy back in
Correct.
gear, so get us back on track. Councilman, you participate in this every year. It's always a very somber event. September 11th, the remembrance of that terrible day back in 2001. You always are involved in the ceremony that takes place at Fire Station 5.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, right there in your ward. And Fire Station 5 has a piece of the World Trade Center, some of the I-beams there on display. And then the fire department, they chime the bells, toll the bells. That's a tradition in the fire department when firefighters are killed in the line of duty. So that took place on September 11th. And it's hard to believe it's been 19 years since that first occurred.
Yeah, and it offers a time of reflection for me. I remember where I was on September 11th, as everybody does. But I chose to kind of think about what our country was like, and how we could all come together and stand for something. And so I think there's so much opportunity in thinking about the past and thinking about what our future holds. And so in the time of great political divide, there's so much that we have in common, and I know I talk about that every time I'm here, is we have so much more in common than we do that divides us.
I agree.
And so that's what I chose to think about, and think about all those that lost their lives on September 11th and how we can be a great country.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because after September 11th, as Americans, we just pulled together, and you could just see it. Drivers let you in if there was traffic. It was just everyone was looking out for one another. Had that feeling we were all in it together, and that's out of that terrible tragedy. That was some of the benefit that we saw in the days that followed. But one thing, I think the fire department, you saw some of the gentlemen there, those were New York firefighters.
Yep.
Who have retired and now live here in Las Vegas. And so that day especially is important for them, and we love to be able to host them at our ceremony each year. So. And
Tim Szymanski with the fire department is the PIO for the Las Vegas Fire and Rescue Department. He does a great job of hosting, and you have fire and rescue personnel there, you have police officers from the Metropolitan Police Department, and then a variety of people who are just familiar with that station and what's there. So it's great event.
The word is that we're never going to forget.
That's
right.
Right.
Forget those folks that lost their lives that day. And Councilman, I love this. You posted this on social media. You said, Team Knudsen had a great time reconnecting with Ward 1 residents who stopped by to help out with the socially distant park cleanup at All-American Park. Now, this is All-American Park, but you've had several of these, haven't you?
So my goal is to do every park in the ward. I think it's a super fun way to engage. And when we talk about bringing people together, cleaning up a park is a great way to bring people together. Everyone who's interested in that park comes out, and I tell them it's not always about picking up trash. It's about connecting with your neighbors, connecting with the city, connecting with me. And it's a great way for me to kind of have informal conversations about what people expect and what people want out of the city of Las Vegas. And so I've loved it. We've done 3 now. Our first one, we had about 12. That was right at the beginning of, the middle of COVID. Now that we're still in the middle, but we're getting a little bit more mature about it. We've had about 45 people at All-American Park and probably 30 people at Bob Bascom Park.
That's great.
So we get there, we have our gloves, we have our masks, we have our trash picker-upper things, our bags, and we all talk for a few minutes, grab a individually wrapped donut and a coffee, and we go out and pick up micro trash with the City of Las Vegas, down with Get Outdoors Nevada, who's a great partner.
Yeah, they are wonderful. Mauricio Bach and the crew over there.
Yeah.
We love volunteers like that because we can't get to everything, especially when you get into the minute details of cleaning up the park, the trash tucked under bushes here, there, and everywhere. So when you get volunteers out that roll up their sleeves, get out there and help you do that, it makes such a huge difference. That's a lot of trash you guys picked up out there.
It's a lot of trash, and it's fun. Like it's fun to sit there and talk with your neighbor about nothing. Like it's a fun endeavor. I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to the many more that we have planned.
Well, I think it's kudos to you too. It's just an opportunity for your constituents to get to hang out with you, talk with you, ask questions, complain if they want to, but you're accessible, and that's the whole point, too.
That's right, and they come prepared. I'm ready for them. They come prepared.
Very good, very good. And then you also have posted this on Facebook. You said, Team Knudsen had the opportunity to donate some school supplies to Vegas Verde Elementary School right here in Ward 1. And this donation was important. Even though the kids aren't in school physically, the donations are really important. Tell everybody why, Councilman.
Yeah, so this in the picture is Antonio Preciada, who works with me. This is a team effort. So school supplies for children and families who are distant learning right now, incredibly important, because as a parent, you don't exactly know everything that your kid's going to need until the day before when you have an assignment due. And so we wanted to make sure that the schools were prepared with supplies to give for families who may not have access or are ready for that. And so Antonia really kind of took charge of that and made sure that all the schools in Ward 1 had the supplies that they requested. We have some additional supplies going out this week. We have earbuds for one of the schools, because if you have multiple kids in the family and you're all sitting around at a kitchen table with computers, the earbuds is going to make it a little bit easier for them to focus. And so it's a community. It takes a village for these kids, and we all have some obligation in making sure that they're learning.
And that's great, Councilman, because students, their parents can pick up food at the different schools throughout the valley. Same with school supplies. They can come and pick up what they need as well.
That's right.
Even though they're not in school physically, like you say, they're still going to need all the things that they would if they were in the classroom.
We still teach how to write, so you got to have a pencil and paper.
Right, exactly. So, well, good for you, good for you. And speaking of Antonia, she's going to be a guest on the show in just a little bit. Everyone will get to meet her, meet some of your staff. When they call the office or send an email, you can match some names with faces there.
It's not just me. It takes several people to make sure that we respond appropriately to the Ward 1 residents.
You have a great team. You do all the way around, so you're going to get to meet one of them just shortly on this program. Councilman, you had a meeting with the Glen Heather neighborhood virtually.
Yes.
So we do town hall meetings, but this year we're doing them like everybody else, through Zoom or WebEx or whatever it might be.
So we tried one in council chambers, and we did it both in person, socially distant, and we did a Zoom or a WebEx. That one went well. That was for the Scotch 80s rezoning for some of the area in there. And then this one we did just with WebEx because none of the neighbors wanted to be in person. It did not go well, David. Not well at all. It was very difficult. We had about 30.
Technically,
well, there was multiple chat boxes, and so people were asking questions, and I didn't see all the questions. And so it wasn't terrible. We did get probably 5 to 10 questions. There's another 20 that we missed. But what it did is it prompted me to kind of reach out individually to people who didn't get their questions asked, and I've been able to go and have a cup of coffee with them and talk about what's really important to them. So out of that, we have requests for some of the Rancho redesign for light poles and trees to go in, some curb replacements. And so it's been really healthy conversations following what is very difficult to do with these Zoom meetings, especially if you've never had real interaction with people. But it's prompted numerous follow-up conversations about how we can improve the area in Glen Heather. And the team that put it together, I'm grateful because it's prompted so many more conversations about how we can better serve that community.
Well, trust me, folks, Councilman Knudsen would never ignore you intentionally. It's just, we're all getting used to how to master these virtual meetings.
It's
funny.
It's really tough.
Initially, and you remember you couldn't hear, and if you got too many people on, it caused problems. Now we're starting to get the hang of it. We've been doing them for so long now that everybody seems to start to fall into that groove, and you are too. So. And good. I'm glad that there was follow-up, even if the questions weren't answered right then and there. That's one thing with a written question. You know who sent it. You can follow up and get it taken care of. So good stuff. And the Councilman, really important reminder. The time really getting short if you have not participated in the census. September 30 is the deadline for households to be counted. That's coming right up here.
The most important thing anybody can do for the city of Las Vegas, for their neighborhood, for the county, for the state, we've got to make sure that everybody in Nevada gets counted. It's federal dollars coming in. It builds roads, schools, fire departments. It funds a lot of the projects the city works on. If you want your neighborhood to be better, you need to fill out the census.
Yeah, everybody in Nevada, all our federal funding, as Councilman says, is based on population. So the census is the conduit to how much federal funding our state is eligible for. And the census only comes around once every 10 years, so we don't get it right now, it's going to be 2030 before we have the chance to fix it. So
and we lose out on tens of thousands of dollars for every individual
person
in your household.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of money.
It is, per person.
Yeah, per year.
And the thing that's really important, too, is people, I think, have a misconception of what the information is going to be used for. It's not turned over to law enforcement. It's really not used by anybody except the Census Bureau. And the information's confidential for 72 years.
No individual federal agency has access to it. It's stored for 72 years. It's perfectly safe to fill out the census. And it really is your duty, your responsibility to Nevada.
Yeah. You know, the Census Bureau wanted to emphasize that they had the census count from 1860 from the Lincoln family, Abraham Lincoln and his family. That information, even though he was president, was not made public until 72 years following. And so if it applies to Honest Abe, it applies to the rest of us too.
And
so don't worry.
I've been telling everyone it takes 10 minutes to fill out. It takes like 2 or 3 minutes. It's relatively simple. Just have one person in your household fill it out. It'll take a few minutes, and then you can count yourself off, and you did something for Nevada.
Yeah, and you know what, folks, again, a website, 2020census.gov. You can also call 844-330-2020. Really important that everybody gets counted. Again, the information is just used by the Census Bureau, not by any other federal agency or law enforcement agency. So everyone in Nevada, everyone needs to be counted. It's absolutely critical.
Everyone.
And we're in a battle royale with the city of Reno.
Correct.
To see who has the best participation.
Councilman Devin Reese, he issued the challenge. I don't think he knew what he was getting into. But the challenge is if Las Vegas has a less percentage count than Reno, then myself, Councilman Creer, and Councilwoman Olivia Diaz would need to wear UNR shirts. In turn, if we win, he has to wear a UNLV shirt. So we've bought the UNLV shirt. We're ready to ship it up to him. We got to keep that momentum going.
There you go. So that's confidence right there. So you got to help these guys win. All right. Well, Councilman, we need to take a short break here, but when we return, you'll meet one of the members of the hardworking Ward 1 team. Plus, we'll tell you how to reach the Ward 1 folks with any of your concerns. That's next, so please stay with us.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Thank you. Did you see anyone's broccoli? You moved this? Thanks for helping us. No problem. These strawberries? You're welcome.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Welcome back, everyone. Antonia Preciado works in Councilman Knudsen's office, serving the residents in Ward 1, of course. She's the Constituent Services Scheduler. Antonia, thank you so much for being with us today and giving the opportunity for the viewers out there to match a name with a face when they contact your office. Councilman, I know you are very proud of the folks that work for you. You've got Dorian, Antonia, and Carl.
That's right, and you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, and so I only surround myself with the very best. Just like here at the City of Las Vegas, it's only the very best, and I am really proud of the people who work with me, and it's a team effort because Ward 1 has a variety of issues, concerns, challenges, opportunities, and it really takes kind of a bunch of us to make it happen. Yeah. Outside of the city team, my team with Dorian, Carl, and Antonia, we get together on a regular basis and talk about how we can make the ward better. Yeah. So Antonia does more than scheduling constituent services. She's done a lot with Metropolitan Police Department, with the senior communities, and she's there kind of helping us understand how we can better serve Ward 1.
She works very hard, and that includes weekends, nights as well. Antonia, what is a constituent services scheduler exactly? I mean, Councilman said you do more than that, but help everybody understand kind of what your primary function is.
Of course. So when we do have a constituent question, anywhere from code enforcement, anywhere from planning and parking enforcement as well, I'm more than happy to, when they do give us a call, send us emails, I reach out to the departments within the city and see how we can better assist them or answer any questions that they might have, and kind of connect them to the correct people and departments so we can go ahead and fix whatever issues that they are having.
That's great. Antonia, I think maybe people, especially if they've maybe come from another city, they come to Las Vegas, and I think they're surprised that not only can they reach out to their council offices, but that someone in the office is actually going to do something about the call or about the concern. We really try to run down all that stuff, and even if it's not a city issue, right, we'll get them connected with the state or the federal government or whoever it might be, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, definitely. I've had a lot of instances, even before my time with the city, I wasn't aware of all the functions that we can do with the city and how well we can reach out to our partnering agencies and how we can assist further our constituents in Ward 1. So yeah, definitely. Not so long ago, we did have in a situation where we needed to reach out directly to a area command within our Ward 1. I went ahead and connected our constituent with the sergeant from the area command, which was Bolden, and it worked out perfectly. So we are that middle person a lot of the time, and I'm happy to be that middle person if it means that we get answers, if we help our constituents with whatever they need.
I know you work very hard, as Councilman had alluded to. Councilman, the primary concerns when your office, what are we hearing now? What are people? Is it still unemployment funds that aren't getting to them? I know that was a big thing for a while, but what are you primarily hearing from people now that we've gotten so far into this pandemic at this point?
So there's a host of issues, and that's why it's helpful to have a team with varying experiences, and we look different, we speak different. It's good because people feel different comfort levels, and so some people who are not comfortable talking to me may want to talk to Carl or Dorian or Antonia. We all represent very different constituencies, all of whom are represented in Ward 1. So people are asking a variety of things. We still get lots of code enforcement issues. Short-term rentals are still a significant issue in Ward 1. We have crime that is increasing in certain areas related to short-term rentals, and so the Metropolitan Police Department are asking us to connect with those people who are complaining and make sure that Metro can respond to the short-term rentals. We have lots of businesses that are opening up, and so I think we had 270 or so in the last quarter that opened up, making sure that we're connecting with those businesses and meeting the needs of new businesses in the city of Las Vegas. At a resident, a neighborhood level, they're talking about what they want their parks to look like. They're talking about curbs that need to be replaced. Jerry Walker with operations maintenance is amazing and sends really detailed emails about how he's going to fix curbs and make them ADA compliant. We have trees that blew down in the windstorm, and so we had to get some of our teams out there to replace or fix the trees.
Sure did.
We have illegally running businesses out of homes. We have illegally running businesses on public right-of-way. And so they're calling us to talk about how they can make their neighborhood better. And I think it's really appropriate to have Antonia and me and Dorian and Carl all taking those types of requests, because that's our job, is to make the community better. And like I said, people feel comfort levels with different people. And that's totally fine. Whoever you're most comfortable with, call. We all talk about the calls that we get, the requests we get. we're all on the same page. And in the ward, whoever you want to talk to, feel free to call.
That sounds great. That sounds great.
Or text. Text is okay too.
Text is fine too.
Yes.
Yeah, we do a lot of that these days. Antonia, some advice for people out there. They want to reach out to their council office, your office in particular. Some advice. Best way to do it: phone call, email, text. As Councilman says, what are some of the most important things that people need to remember when they reach out to the office if they want to bring an issue to your attention?
Well, definitely just to reach out. That would be the best advice. If they don't reach out, we don't know what's going on in the ward. And lots of times I have constituents give us a call, and they, right off the bat, they apologize for giving us a call because they didn't know if we can assist. And I tell them, give us a call. It's better for us to help you in any way that we can, and then you be left with unknown answers or questions. So I think any ways would help. They can always give us a call, weekends, nights, it doesn't matter. I always have my phone on me, so they can always give us a call. Emails, we check them regularly, so we don't go more than 24 hours without answering them. So any way that they can, feel free to give us a call or email and just reach out, and we'll definitely help in whichever way we can. If we can assist you on a city level, we'll be more than happy to guide you as to who can help you to answer those questions.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good. And before we get out of this program, we're going to have that contact information for everybody out there if they want to reach out to the office. So. Councilman, great job. Good to see you on the program. We're running short of time here, but always a pleasure. And there's so much going on within your ward. It's got to be an exciting time for you guys. So
I do think the majority of really cool development is going to happen in Ward 1 over the next couple of years. So I'm super excited. I'm grateful to represent Ward 1. And watch out, because it's going to be cool things happening in the medical district. I'm very excited about it.
And Antonia, thank you so much for joining us today. It's always nice when people, they're going to reach out to the office. So I talked to this young lady named Antonia, but I don't really know who she is, but now people will know when they reach out to the office. So I'll have a chance to put a name with the face. And you do a great job. You work very, very hard. And people out there should know that when they have a concern that comes to your office and comes to you specifically, you're going to follow up and take care of it as best you can on it. So
thank you, David.
Good work.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for being with us. And Councilman, great work. We're going to tell everybody out there, we always want to hear from you, as we're saying. So if you have something you'd like to share with Councilman Knudsen or Antonia, you can find him on Facebook and Twitter. You can also connect with the office by picking up the phone, 702-229-6405, as Antonia said, or send us an email. His address is bknudsen@lasvegasnevada.gov. And one of his fine staff, Antonia being one of them, will get right back to you. So, Councilman, great job. We'll see you in 6 weeks with another update from Ward 1. Antonia, thank you so much for being with us. Keep up the good work in your neck of the woods. Good luck with everything. We'll see you next time around. I know she's I'm done with doing this show. I've been on once. Okay, I'm done. So very good. Well, listen, folks, don't miss our next show beginning on October 1st with Ward 3 City Councilwoman Olivia Diaz. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Access City Council. We'll see you next time right here. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone.